Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to day 2 of the Edinburgh Fringe. We've just seen our first 2 shows. Apologies for the noise in here. We've just borrowed this room for a few minutes to film our review. What did we see?
We saw, first thing, Loft clearance here at the Greenside on George Street, which is a new space to us. And I will read you what it says in the programme. True life storytelling. What do we keep? What do we let go? Join Eileen as she rummages through 100 years worth of possessions that have accumulated in her loft. Enjoy 50 minutes of light-hearted despair as the clearance unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, you picked this one.
Yeah, I did. Because it's about...
well, we have done a loft clearance not that long ago because we moved house. But I actually thought it was delightful. There was multimedia. As we came in, there was sort of interview audio, wasn't there, where she'd been talking to people about their lofts, and there was some visuals, some film, and that went right the way through the performance. I said to you as I came out, I actually thought it was absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
The 50 minutes flew by.
It did. I could have listened to her talk for so much longer. And in fact, she does do another show in the afternoon, which apparently is a continuation. But
so
anyway,
we may try and get to see that maybe next week.
But it was, I jotted down some notes because we were back to back, and I thought I'll just put down my thoughts. And my first word was delightful. And like Ian said, because she addressed hoarding and collecting.
Yeah.
But what was fascinating about what she'd found in her loft were things, as a lot of us do, things that we had no idea were there. But she came across a lot of board games that her grandfather had created, that she's donated the bulk of to a board game museum. As she said, who knew there was such a
they were unpublished, but we had visuals of what the games.
Fantastic.
She had the actual roles of these prototype games, but I wanted to play them because I thought they were absolutely great. You know,
but it was lovely. It was that it was dipping into family history, but also things that were personal to her. But more commercial in the sense that there was some original Disney glass lantern slides.
Yeah, amazing stuff.
And then the question of what you keep, what you throw away, things that she'd regretted throwing away. But
there was.
Yeah.
So there's a bit where she found a manuscript. She's self-published 4 books, and her father, who was a headmaster, published a couple of books, and she found a manuscript, 500-word manuscript for one of his books that was unpublished, and then she binned it, which was horrifying. But then luckily, when she was going through she found another copy, so it's been digitized.
And I know that we're telling some of the story of the content, but you have to let hear the story yourself.
You do, yeah.
Because we're just trying to illustrate how absolutely fascinating life is.
Yeah.
And some of her journey, she discovered other things that then there were connections that she found through the various generations.
And I have to say, her loft, the stuff that was in her loft seems much more interesting than the stuff that's in our loft. You know what I mean?
It was, she told us about she tackled photographs, and I'm thinking, I must remember that, that kind of thing. So
a shoebox is about 1,000 photographs.
Yeah,
so, which is incredible.
But it was absolutely fascinating. So it was, if you're a bit of a hoarder collector yourself, I think you'll find it really interesting. Or if you just have an interest in history and what we discover about things and how fascinating life is. You could just sit there for hours listening.
Definitely, she's brilliant.
Thoroughly enjoyable.
So when's it on? The reason we're using Jane because I haven't got my
and we're under strict time limit for this space. So it is on at Greenside George Street in the Fern Studio. And it is, the first performance was today, so it's on from today 11:40 in the morning for 50 minutes, £12 ticket. There are no 2-for-1 days, so it's from today until the 10th and then the 12th until the 17th.
It's
Okay.
excellent. It
So
really
it's
is.
great.
So how many stars?
I'm going to go for a good 4.
Me too. I'm going to go for a good 4 as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was really. I mean, it
Yeah.
was a fascinating 50
Yeah,
minutes.
really
yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I like spending time in Eileen's
Yeah.
attic.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely. Okay.
Great.
So we'll see you shortly for our next review. So thanks so
Cheers.
much for watching. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye.